Hey everyone, it's Kara. As you all know, I am a skincare specialist as well as the owner of New Era Swimwear, and I am here with you today to talk a little bit about my tanning story as well as give you my promised 5 tanning secrets for the summer. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of backstory on me and my experiences with tanning, just so you know a little bit about my background. So like most of you, summer rolls around and I just can't wait to get out on the beach, out in the sun, get my tan on, get that beautiful dark glow I want for the summer when I'm wearing my bikinis and my shorts and tank tops. But you know, there's always those couple of dreaded days where you're walking around outside looking pasty white, those first couple of days when spring starts to come around, the weather starts to change, it gets a little warmer, you want to put your shorts on, you want to put your tank tops on, but you walk around and you're still kind of white from the winter because you haven't had a chance to be out in the sun. Yeah, not my favorite thing. So I would try to catch every little chance I could get of going out in the backyard, putting my bikini on, laying out in the sun, trying to catch every little ray of sunshine I could so that I could feel confident walking around in my shorts and short sleeve shirts and tank tops and already having a little bit of a tan. So as I was thinking, I had another bright idea. Why don't I just use a tanning bed? Instead of trying to catch those rare spring days when the sun is shining just bright enough to darken my skin a little bit, why don't I just speed up the process and go to the tanning salon? I mean, sure, in the back of my head, I knew that tanning beds weren't the healthiest and that people would talk about getting cancer from them, but I figured, you know, I don't want to have to deal with this anymore. I just want to have nice tan skin right out the get-go so I can wear my bikinis. So I think I'm just going to do it. So I talked to myself and I told myself all the lies that most people usually do, that while yes, UV rays from tanning beds can cause skin cancer, I most likely won't be one of those people that ends up getting it. I figured, I mean, I spend most of my time out in the sun all summer long, so what can a few little UV rays really do to me? All I wanted was to bask in the glow of my own beautiful dark skin. So you may be thinking that this story ends with me learning the hard way and that I actually did get skin cancer, but thankfully it doesn't. However, it does end with me finally getting some sense knocked into my head and realizing that just because something hasn't happened to me yet doesn't mean that it still could. After experiencing some other health issues, not necessarily related to skin cancer, I began to realize how really important our health is and how much we take it for granted when we just have it. Also, how little we see need to protect the health that we do have just for the sake of looking hot or the sheer belief that those things that happen to other people are never going to happen to us. Well, that is a complete lie. Things can happen to us, and they most likely will if we don't take precautions to protect the health that we have. So then I thought, what's the alternative to something that we enjoy but that could potentially cause harm to our bodies in the future? I thought about this a lot because believe me, there's no way I wanted to go through summer without my bronze masterpiece of a body. It's not something I wanted to give up. So, what was my only other option? You guessed it, self-tanner. Now don't get me wrong, I have always been very skeptical of self-tanner. The only things I've heard about it were stories of how it stains people's hands, makes your skin look orange, takes a long time to put on, smells bad, and overall, it's just a huge headache as compared to just laying out in the sun or in a tanning bed. But at this point, my mind was made up. My health is more important now and in the future than just looking a certain way for a couple months out of the summer. So I began to do my research. And what I found was quite different from all the myths I had believed about self-tanner. My hope was restored, and I knew that I could again have beautiful, glowing tan skin all summer long without having to worry about getting skin cancer. I'm very excited to share with you all of my tips and tricks that I've attained from the research that I've done on self-tanner and help you learn the best way to apply it and the best self-tanners to use. I made the switch and I hope to help you gain the confidence in your skin routine for this summer as well. So with that, let's get started on my tanning tutorial.
Hey guys! Alright, so now I'm going to give you my 5 tips for self-tanning this summer. Now I just want to start out with tip number 1. Obviously, you want to choose the right self-tanner for your skin. I'm not going to go into too much detail about that because it can get really scientific, but I just want to give you a couple pointers on what might be best for your skin tone. If you have a lighter skin tone, I would use something with a lower amount of DHA because that is the chemical that reacts with your skin to make it dark, and if there's too much of it, it can make it darker quicker. And if you have a lighter skin color to start out with, you're probably gonna get not the right color that you want. It might look more orangey or too dark too fast, so it won't really have the chance to react properly with your skin. Sorry about my puppy. She's probably going to be back here. Say hi, Era. She's a good girl, but she likes to play, so just don't mind her in the background. And then if you have a more olive colored skin, kind of like me, I know it doesn't really look like it in this light, but I do have olive skin. You might want to choose something that has a greener cast to it because that's going to cancel out the oranginess. And if you have a darker skin tone, choose something that has a red cast to it. And you can find all of this on the back of the self-tanners. It'll have the ingredients all listed out in there. But there are some that do work really well for all skin types, which is the one I'm going to be using today, and it's the one that I would suggest that you use because it's super great. So that is tip number 1. Always choose the right kind of tanner for your skin and know your skin tone so that you get the right look that you're wanting. Tip number 2, always exfoliate before you apply your self-tanner. And this is going to be because the self-tanner, which contains the DHA, is what reacts with your skin, and it only reacts with the outer layer of your skin. So if you exfoliate first, it's going to get whatever dead skin that's likely to come off soon off when you're exfoliating. So you're going to get all of the dead skin pieces that are on there to come off, and that's going to expose the newer layer of skin, which is then going to make your self-tanner last longer because it's going to be reacting with a layer of skin that's not ready to come off yet. So it's very, very important that you always exfoliate first before you apply your self-tanner. And I like to use just a brush. You can use anything you want. You can even exfoliate in the shower. But this is just an exfoliation soft bristle kind of brush, and I would just rub it gently over your skin just to get all those dead skin cells off. Alright, so once you have exfoliated your skin, tip number 3 is going to be moisturize. So you always want to moisturize your skin. And the reason for that is just because you want to have a smooth, streak-free layer of tanner. And when you moisturize first, especially I would point out on like your elbow or on your knees or the parts of your skin that are thicker, it's just going to provide kind of a smoothing layer for the self-tanner to go on top of, and it's not going to have as many uneven patches or streaks. So it's always really important to just do a moisturizer. This is actually a face moisturizer, but I use it for my body a lot when I'm doing self-tanning. It's Neutrogena, but it just works really great. It's just really lightweight and provides a good base foundation for the self-tanner. So now that we have put our moisturizer on, it's time for us to start tanning. And that leads me to my tip number 4, which is always make sure you put a lot on and that you leave it on for the right amount of time. So I know a lot of people, they want to try and get it nice and smooth and even, and so they might put just a thin layer on, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it won't be smooth. I always put a lot on, and I do make sure that I rub it in well enough, but not too much so that it spreads out super thin, because personally I want a really dark tan. So I'm going in circular motions, and by the way, usually I use a tanning mitt, but for some reason I happen to leave one of mine at one of my other houses, and I don't have it here with me right now, which is weird because I usually have one laying around somewhere, but I couldn't happen to find one. So I'm just going to use my hand today. But the good thing about this self-tanner that I'm using is it washes off really well if you wash it off soon enough, so it doesn't leave my hand looking all full of bronzy color. So I'm just going to put a lot on and sort of just rub it around in a circular motion, making sure that I do get it rubbed in, but I'm still just going to leave it. So what I'm really doing for you guys is 1/2 of my body so that you can kind of see the difference of how this self-tanner works. Alright, so now that I have put the self-tanner on one side of my body, I moved my camera over a little bit just to try and get a better lighting because it wasn't the best over there, because I want you guys to be able to see the difference of one side to the other. And I know it's still kind of hard to see in here, but this side has the self-tanner and this side does not. And I was also already a little bit tan, so I know it's hard to tell, but you will have to put a couple of layers on anyways if you want to make it even darker. But my 5th tip is that you always should put it on in the evening, because pretty much every self-tanner has a smell to it and it doesn't smell the greatest. So if you put it on in the evening, you can just go to bed and sleep through the night with it. You should leave it on 6 to 10 hours, so do it sometime in the evening, go to bed, and then you're good to wake up the next morning and wash it off, and you will have a tan. It will not wash the tan off at that point. So that's my last tip for you, and I hope you guys enjoyed my self-tanning video and my 5 tips on how to get the best tan this summer.
Thanks again for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. If you would like to get the tanning gel that I used in my tutorial, there will be a button below this video that you can click on to be able to get it. And like I said, I will give the first 100 people to click a free product along with that as well. Also, don't forget to check out my Instagram page. The link will be also below this video for more promotions and upcoming videos. Bye guys!